Hey traders, market update time. Let's get straight into it. Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video today, because trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There are so many areas you need to become good at to become a good trader. Emotional mastery, chart reading, trading systems, money and trade management. So this video is just educational only to help you become a much better trader. Alright, traders. So, all markets are up last night. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know whether the market was going to start falling down or whether it was going to start rallying. As I said in yesterday's video, that we may start getting a little bit of a small rally, breaking into new highs in the S&P, but also the Nasdaq has that gap to fill. So that's why I was thinking maybe we're going to get a little bit of run to the high side. Maybe we don't. So I was just on the sidelines there, wasn't sure what was going to go on in the short term. Long term, I'm bearish. I think this. I think long term, I'm really bearish. So. Let me show you what I see here, guys. So I got up this morning and I redid my analysis and I said, okay, what's really going on with these charts and what's really happening and so on and so forth. So because guys, I'm always keep an eye on what's happening with the bigger picture as well too. So we can actually see this is the Dow Jones weekly chart. Okay, so the Dow Jones weekly chart, we can actually see the market's running up, and this little run here. You can see the market had a run up through there, and this line through here, I'll show you where I got that line on the daily chart in a minute, and you'll see the reason why I drew that there. But you can see the market's run up, and this Dow Jones for me has a lot of issues getting past this. You can see this level through here, which is around the 17,920. And then obviously we have that high point up there, which I think if it does get up there, it'll have problems as well too. 17,900 and say 70. That's where it's actually having a lot of issues right now. Now, once again, guys, if you go and have a look on the line chart, you can still see that we could still be in the potential of having a a lower peak. If that is the case, if this is the case in the Dow Jones and it does form a lower peak, and we do start to head down, this would be the move that we're likely to see heading down big time again. So keep an eye on that weekly chart. Don't listen to what you're thinking. Just listen to what this chart's telling you. Okay, because every single time that's happened, you can see here lower peak, crash, lower peak, lower trough as well too, crash. What have we got here? We've got lower trough, we get a lower peak, we're going to get a crash. It's just the formation that's happening. And remember, guys, overall, the Dow Jones is still the weakest out of the whole lot. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, looking on the line chart, guys, for the Dow Jones, we still can see, is that going to... Oh, my software's doing that again. So looking on the line chart, guys, we can still see that it still is forming that lower peak right now. We still haven't broken past that, and this is the key thing I'm looking for. Are we going to form that lower peak or not? Because if we are going to form that lower peak, then that's obviously what I'm looking for. So this is the key thing I'm looking for, guys. So you see this here. You see, obviously, we've had this rundown, and this is the lower peak here. Is this going to be a lower peak or not? This is the key area. This is an absolutely key area, guys. This is like a do or die area. We break past here, break past 18,000, as I've been saying for the last week. We break past 18,000, then we actually have a run back up towards a high side up to the top here, and then maybe break up to new highs. But we do actually have a little bit of run to the high side. If that happens, then everything else will move up as well too. But looking on this line chart, guys, you can actually see what's going on here. You can see the market is moving quite nicely to the high side and obviously running back up towards that level through there. So that's what we can see going on through the Dow Jones. Now I want to show you this daily chart, and I deleted all my trend lines and I said, okay, what is going on here when it comes to support, resistance, and all that sort of stuff? So forget the indicators here for a minute, and I'll get back to them in just a second. But firstly, I can see that when I draw my trend lines, and again, guys, the way that I draw my trend lines, I like to use the closes. Now, what I mean by that is this. If I just bring up, you can see here that the market actually closed down the bottom here. So I use that as a starting point, not the tail. and then the market runs up. You can see how it couldn't close below there, couldn't close below there, couldn't close below there, and you can see how it rejected it all through there as well too, and then it's broken up. So you can see that this is the way that I like to draw my trend lines, and I think the reason why is I learned that from one of my earlier mentors, still is a mentor to this day to me. But he says, John, the basically the closing prices, or the opening and closing prices, are the most important parts of the bar, of the open, highlight, close bar. He said, so I want to see whether it's going to close below a certain level or not. And he said that when you do that, you can get a good gauge of what's going on. And you can actually see what's going on here, right? You had a little wick here, but you can see what's actually happening here. Market actually closed above there, had a lot of resistance through there. It couldn't close above there, and now we're closing just slightly above, but still potentially could make a slight lower peak. But looking at this, guys, we did try to break up. We're at all this area of resistance. It's really interesting area, guys. Right now, short term, we could easily just break up and break back up towards these highs and continue running back up to here. That's what could happen short term. The stochastics are getting embedded, so that's actually more of a bullish sign than everything. So we could actually start breaking above, but the Dow Jones is still at that area of resistance. Now, again, guys, this is just for the Dow Jones. I'll get to the other indices in just a minute, but I want to share with you what I'm seeing here. And on top of that, guys, you can see how we didn't get, it was actually a smaller volume than we've seen in the last 1, 2, 3, 4 days, especially this day here. So, guys, I am still in the selling bear camp, on the shorting bear camp. Should I say, I'm not shorting the market short term. I'm definitely not doing that. I'm shorting the market long term, meaning I'm getting in and I'm seeing where things are long term, meaning over the next 6 months. But I'm not shorting this short term. But you can see, guys, if I'm looking at this, I can see this volume spike here, and we had this volume bar here. That to me shows that we're likely to start forming a bit of a bear trend here coming soon. So that's just basically what I see and what I think that's going to happen moving forward real soon. So we can see the markets run up through there. We actually paused off this line and broke up through there. So now we're potentially forming like a bit of a triangle pattern. You can see how the market's running up through here and it's squeezing up through here. This would be the trend line, guys, you want to be watching for. If the market does break above this 18,000 level, or both these trend lines, yeah, we're going to get up to this 18,100, 18,200 level. But if it doesn't, if it holds and we start to get a closer below this level, guys, this is the level that you need to keep an eye on for. Once this happens, then it's all over, Red Rover, and we will get something like that. You can see how the market's kept it off. This is the trough here, this is the trough here, this is the peak here, and this is basically one big peak here so far, and this is the peak here. So you can see we're getting this trough. And so far, guys, you've got this sort of swinging action. And if I bring up, say, let me bring up, say, let me bring up a different color here. I want to make the width. Oh, the width is already thick. So let me just bring up a different color. So you can see, if I go, you can see how the market's been yeet. Like that. And you can see how the market's swinging up and like that. So we really are at a do or die situation right now. A lot of people saying that June is a big month, and June is a big month, guys. You know, look at President Obama just came out and said that be prepared for disaster. Like, hello, how much more signs do you want? And the president coming out and saying prepare for disaster. Whether he was talking about a natural disaster or a disaster that they've actually planned, that's a different story. But that's happening. You got the Brexit, you got potential interest rates. Now I'm going to do a video a bit later on market news about what Janet Yellen just came out and just said. But I'll do a bit of a market update that soon. But you can see that that's what's actually going on with these markets here. Now, guys, this is the things you need to keep an eye on for. So yes, I am overall a bear, and yes, I am, and I do think this market's going to drop down. But you got to flow with the market. You got to see what the market's doing, and this is what the market's doing right now. You can see what's happening here. Here's the higher trough. We just made a slight little higher trough. If we break above here, yeah, we're likely to race back above these highs up here. If we don't and we close above this trend line, and guys, I want you to draw your trend line on this Dow chart. I promise you. You watch this. Once it breaks below there, then it's all over, and we will start to get significant selling on the downside once we break this trend line right here. All right, so let's actually move over now to the other indices, And as you can see, I just love to delve. I just love to go deep and pull these charts apart, because I'm a trader. And for me, guys, I'm looking to put more money on the markets as well too. So I'm looking for the best opportunities and so on and so forth. So silver and stuff we will leave to another video. But let's just get back onto the S&P. Now the S&P, what's happening with S&P? Now S&P long term, as you can see, right? You can see, let me just bring up a pen. Let me bring up a green. You had this bottom point through here, and I'll show you where they've got that in a minute. You can see how the market bounced off through there, almost bounced off through there, and it's running up towards this resistance point right now, which could be potential double top. It had a little rejection last night on the hourly chart, and you can see it closed just slightly lower, so that was actually on yesterday. And if it does have a little bit more rally, which I think it may even want to, considering what I'm going to show you on the Nasdaq, you can see what's happening right now. So the S&P right now is at 2 significant areas of resistance. So is the Dow Jones, but the Dow Jones is not even at its highs. Interesting, right? So this is the weekly chart here. We break above here. Yeah, we're likely to keep running up and best new highs and just break up to new highs. That's what we're likely to see. So that's what I see there on the weekly chart, guys. So remember, on the weekly chart, we're still at those areas of major significant area of resistance. That's what you got to keep an eye for. Don't just say, oh, well, I think this market's going to break up to new highs, because you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. That's not being a trader. A trader, or even an investor, looks at these markets like, okay, we need to break above these levels through here. You know what I mean? For me, I don't buy it either way. But anyway, let's actually continue here. So this Dow Jones, let's have a look at this here. This daily chart. Let me just delete this trend line here. So I'm just going to delete that, and then this trend line here, I'm going to draw it for you right now. So you can see how that we actually start from the bottom through here, and what do? We actually just draw this trend line up, and we draw this trend line up to around about where the market couldn't close. It's where the market couldn't close below. Now, once again, guys, what am I doing there? I'm doing this. I'm saying, okay, the market actually, this is where the market actually opened and closed there. This was actually, this whole point through here was a wick, so I don't use that. I like to use this point through here. Now, breaking up through here, you can see the market actually sort of point through there, and held through there, and held through there, and held through there as well too, and then broke up. And then the market's running up through here. And I'll show you what I see here in just a minute as well too. But you can see the market's running up into these areas of resistance. Now notice in the small volume. Guys, we need significant volume to push through, and I'll show you a stock in a minute what I'm talking about. But we need significant volume to push through these areas of resistance if it's going to have any significant follow through. That's where I'm still not buying it. But once again, guys, you can see that the market had a run up through there. And now if I just want to do this, I want to create a little, let's go to that, wrong one. Let's go to that one there. Let's bring up a different color, and I want to show you what I see. I can see this market actually running up. And let me bring up, say, the 3-month view. Let me get a much closer view here of what I'm trying to show you here. Actually, let's go 6 months, because 6 months be able to draw it a bit better. So I'm just drawing this trend line here. You can see where the market actually couldn't close below. It just had problems closing below that level there. And what's actually happening here is also running up towards those highs through there. So we're in this bit of a short-term channel, aren't we? You can see if I bring up the 3-month view, this is obviously 3 months worth of data. You can see what's actually happening here. The market couldn't close below. And in fact, if you're looking at closes, that the market actually... I tell you guys what I was just laughing at. I was just laughing at the way that I said closes. Anyway, so you can see how the market ran up, right? And it could not close above that there and rejected off there. So you can see on the short term, and guys, these are things you need to keep an eye on for when the short term. Now, by the way, guys, when I say short term, this here to me is actually a bearish formation. When the market runs up, like this, and then suddenly starts to do this, you have these strong buys, weak buys. Guys, that to me is actually a bearish sign. Now, 8 times out of 10, it's a bearish sign and we get a big pullback. 8 times out of 10. The other 2 times, it'll actually just keep breaking up. It'll break up and it'll just keep racing new highs. But so you can see, guys, if you look at that, you had resistance there, and now we're at this resistance, which was also this resistance. So this whole area, guys, is a ton of area resistance. So I would not be too bullish here right now at all. We don't know what's going to happen here. Is the Fed going to keep coming out and talking this market up? Or are we going to start seeing more downside? So this is where we're at right now. And I just don't see this market continue breaking up above these highs. I could be wrong, and that's where, like, short term guys, I'm saying, you know, this could be up, this could be bullish, this could be bearish. Now, my view, guys, my opinion in what I'm seeing here is I'm bearish on this because this is a bearish formation. But the thing is, because I'm bearish on this because the Dow Jones still is not above those areas that I'm looking at. So let's actually continue now onto the other markets here. It's really interesting what's actually going on right now, guys. Let's go and let's dig deep into the Russell. Now, the Russell is actually a really interesting one that I'm looking at as well too. So the Russell for me, guys, as you can see, that I drew my trend lines in again. I just said, okay, what's going on here? And we can see that overall, that if you have a look at this here, you can see the market actually had a sort of a ton, this whole area of resistance all through here. And what I'm talking about there, guys, you can see that these areas through here is where the market had a problem. So if the market does run, especially on the Russell, we may even get up to the top up here, because it looks like, as you can see, right, X marks the spot through there. So resistance, top trend line, looks like it may want to get up there. We're actually getting a big extended run to the high side. Now, I don't think it's going to get up to there, and I'll show you why I say that in a minute. We have this low point through there, and we have this low point through there, and we have this sort of midpoint as well too, don't we? You can see we have this sort of midpoint going on through here, and then the market sort of resistance here, support, runs up through there, and then that's what we see there on the daily chart. So the weekly chart, guys, weekly chart looks like it's running up, but the thing is, we actually do have an area of these where the market's had a lot of problems in the past. And the top and the bottom of that area would be somewhere around about, I'd say somewhere around about there. Now, where did I get that trend line from? I got that trend line from, you can see there's areas through here where the market's actually had a lot of problems. You can see that point through there, lots of points through there, that point through there. So we are at that point right now as well too. So it's very interesting. Again, this is on the weekly chart, guys. Very interesting on that weekly chart. Go into the daily chart. What do we see? On the daily chart, we see this market actually continue to run right up. And it's actually, as I said before, it's at that area of resistance where the market's had problems in the past. Now, what I also do see, guys, is actually it's forming one of those flag formations I was talking about a minute ago. So what do we see here? We see that this market here, if I bring up this trend line here, and again, let's actually bring up, say, 6 months worth of data. And I'm just going to draw this trend line from where the market has actually closed. And again, I'm drawing this trend line to get the closes for me. The closes is what I'm looking for. So let's bring up, say, 3 months worth of view, 3 months worth of data. And let me see if that works through there. No, that doesn't work. Let's actually bring it up through there. What I said before, bring it up through there. No, that doesn't work either. There's a different trend line that goes on through there. I'd say something like that would be the key for me. Something like that there. Something like that, because I can see the market actually couldn't close below those levels through there. It's actually an interesting one, isn't it? So let me actually, if I go from the high point and then I just go through all these high points up through there. Yes, I'll do that, and then I'm just going to create this trend line here again as well too, and then do that as well. So yeah, so you can see where we're at right now. You got this sort of, this sort of extended move to the high side, this run up, and then a real just slow run up through there. So again, guys, this is actually a very, it's actually a bearish sign. It's what I call I actually call this, and I think I'm calling this the first, but this is actually called a bullish reversal flag. A bullish reversal flag, guys, and this is there's actually a couple of different flags that actually forms in the market. The actual normal bullish flag, and I'll show you this here right now. The normal bullish flag is when the market runs up and then it has a big pullback, and then obviously what do you expect? You expect the market to break out. But this here, where the market runs up but then continues running up like that, that's a bullish looking, but that's actually a reversal flag. So we actually got that right now. You can see that where the market's actually run up through there. You can see the market's run up through there. So then I'm expecting this sort of action coming down through there. So you can see that's what's going on right now on the Russell. Now, the thing is, guys, when you're actually looking at a bearish reversal flag is obviously a normal bear flag is run down, and then you have a little channel, and then what do you get? You get a reversal flag. But what also do you get in what we call a bearish reversal flag is that where the market runs down and then it continues running down like that, that to me is a bearish reversal flag. And 9 times out of 10, when you get this sort of action, what do you get? You actually get a breakout to the high side. Let me do that again. Breakout. I'll get it. There we go. Green for up. So we actually get a breakout to the high side. So those different types of patterns I've actually noticed time and time again. This is actually looks like a bullish reversal, but go back and do your analysis, guys, and study, and you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about here. Exactly when this sort of happens. Most of the time, or it may take a while for this. What I mean by that, guys, is it may take a while where the market might stay in here for quite some time, but when it breaks, then it has a reverse. This one here, it might stay in here for a while, but then when it breaks, then we get the reverse. So that's what we see here right now. That's the reason, guys, I'm saying I'm not buying this upward movement through here, I'm just not, and I just can't. So that's right. I have my reasons why I'm not bullish in here. I don't think the market. I don't think short-term, guys, we don't know what's going to happen. Short-term, I think we may get a little bit more upside. Why? Because I think this Nasdaq is about to close this gap. And I'll bring up this here. So short-term, I think we're about to get a little move to the high side. But you can see, actually, the Nasdaq for me, guys, Nasdaq for me is actually building this long-term trend line through here. We have this resistance point through here. We have that sort of trend line through here. We're squeezing up into this triangle. We actually are at this area of resistance right now. Again, breaking up, trying to break above that resistance. Is this going to be a double top in the future where we look back at, oh, look, there's a double top, and then, oh, look, the market broke down. We'll see about that. I actually think we will. And again, I'm just sort of putting my thoughts out there of what I'm seeing on the market. And there's a reason why I'm saying I think we will see this as a double top. So there's a few reasons why that as well too. So again, guys, you can see the Nasdaq actually had a slight little 0.5% update, but look at that volume. The volume's actually tapering off as this market's been going up through here. As this market's been going, we had a good volume there on that bar there, but then we have been tapering off. So I think, guys, I really think that's actually, to me, guys, that it's a weak sign. Okay, it's a weak sign. When the market's running in one direction and the market's moving in another direction, when the market's moving in one direction and the volume's moving in another direction, it's showing convergence. Now, what I mean by that, I'm teaching you all kinds of stuff in this video. Love it. So what I mean by that is this: is that if the market, let me just bring up here, and the market's actually stepping up like that, but then suddenly we get the volume doing this, like going lower and lower and lower. There's actually convergence between that. You need volume to start pushing it up. Okay, you need volume. So what generally happens is that the market will come down, you get a big volume spike, and then that would be the start of the trend of this uptrend, was a bit of a false rally, and then the market breaks down. There you see that, guys. You see that time and time, and also time again. So that's what I do see there, guys, and this is what I'm seeing here. So, but as of for the short term, let's bring up the 3-month view. The short term, we actually have, this is the gap up here. So we may even want to come and close that gap. This is that gap up here. You can see we're actually very, very close to closing that gap. But even if we do get like a little rally to the high side, you've got a ton of areas of like resistance through here. And once again, guys, on the Nasdaq, what is the Nasdaq forming? The Nasdaq forming is one of those bullish looking but reversal flags. And so what am I expecting? I'm expecting maybe just a little bit more upside to actually close that gap. And then once that happens, then we start to get a breakdown. Okay, and so once again, and as I said before, guys, the key for me is that Dow Jones. Watch that Dow Jones. Once that Dow Jones cracks this level, we are in for big movement on the downside. If it holds here and does not rally and break down, we will start to see a significant movement on the downside. And yes, I am calling that, because this is what the charts are doing, right? We failed to break to the high side now. This thing's going to rally. This thing's going to drop to the downside real quick, okay? And then June will be a bit of a deadly month. Maybe May. I said May's going to be a deadly month. Maybe June's the deadly month. So so that's basically what I do see there, guys. Overall, you can see what I'm seeing on the indices. I hope you really enjoyed this market update, and I will see you in the next update. I'm not going to BS you here. Trading is hard. Over my 10 years of trading, I've learned some amazing systems and strategies, and I've put it all in my brand new Grab the Markets by the Balls course, and I'm giving you 100% free access. This whole course is 12 videos long and almost 10 hours of the best systems and strategies that I know. Click on the image below now to get 100% free access right now.